All right, Mr. Mumbles, King's Court. We are back here and we are going to try to do the meeting again. And we will be having Kevin Scott come in a couple of minutes there and see if we are able to do this here properly there. All right. So thank y'all very much for supporting us. Thank you for being here, Mr. Mumbles. All right. So let me just get Kevin to come in. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So we'll be right back there. Give you about a minute for Kevin to call in here. All right. All right. And from that picture that you've seen there, make sure y'all go check my interview with Toronto rapper Admiral Crumple. We did that yesterday. It should be on my page. Please support, subscribe to the page, um, like any of the videos. Let me know if there's any artists, battle rappers, especially local, that you would like to see me interview, or battle rappers, get at me, let me know your music for your listening sessions. All right, so we're gonna try this again here. Okay. Hey, Kevin. Hello. I can see you. Okay, connecting to audio. So you should be connecting soon. Let me know when you're able to hear me, Kevin. So let me know. And okay, so he's just connecting to the audio there. It is funny that he said that. Is that I know a lot of rappers who have gone into comedy as a thing to do afterwards. Hello? Um, it's funny. Yeah. Hello? Okay. You're still connecting to the audio. Um, it is something that I've always wanted to do, but it's saying that you're connecting to audio. Yeah, I'm not sure it's not connecting to the audio for some reason. Um, anything I can do. Hello? Are you connected?
Hey, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, that's good. Hopefully it works.
Okay, so let's hope it continues working. So you started basically kind of doing in between like the hosting and the keeping the flow, and then you decided to go full time into comedy there.
Yeah.
And
Like I said, I prefer, when I used to rap, I prefer comedy. I prefer
yeah,
it. It's something about it. The feeling of being on stage telling jokes is a lot better, to be honest with
okay, and
you. You feel more at home, you know? Like it feels like a lot better.
true.
So, hey, I have a question for you, even though you're the one interviewing me.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, what made you decide to do stuff like this?
It's just um because I've always been involved in the different scenes of entertainment and whatever, and this was, and if anybody knows me from, especially from my online demeanor, I'm very opinionated about
Okay,
a lot of stuff, and I'm very strong, and I'm not afraid to share those opinions,
makes sense.
and I believe I can articulate them well. So I thought it was something that I've always been interested in. Just the last couple of years, I haven't had the setup that I've wanted to do it and the
Makes sense.
stability. So now that I do, I just want to give it a try. And I've always felt, especially for Canada, in where we were lacking in, we've never been lacking in talent when it comes to
No.
anything. We've always been lacking in platforms and stuff. So, like, Drake's the biggest thing, but Drake's not the first great rapper that we've had. We've had great rappers for years. They've just
Sure.
not gotten the exposure and stuff and utilized their opportunities like Drake has to get to the higher platform. Like, I think in comedy, um, we've always been known for having our great comics, you know, from SCTV and stuff. Like Hollywood's been known to come to Canada to get their comics, but we still have a lot of great Canadian comics in Canada that are not getting exposure. So I like providing that.
Do you have a favorite comedian?
I don't know if we can maybe do it by the phone, because yeah, we seem to be having some type of technical difficulties.
Yeah, I noticed that, brother.
Um, well, what kind of a comic are you? Like, what's your
Uh,
style?
all my comedy is based on true stories. So uh, I'd say I'm pretty dirty.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, I actually, a quick story. I did
uh, oh,
hey, brother.
all right. Try that again. You cut out. What
Yeah,
was
I
it?
know. I saw that. Fucking. What's it called? Can you hear me?
No. You know what? We're gonna have to try to find a different way to connect. Maybe have you phone in. Let me
I can
give
do
you.
that.
Yeah, maybe have you phone in because let me give you that number here.
Yo, I'll phone now. Just send me the number.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll do it that way.
That sounds good, brother.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
All right. So let's hold on a moment there, folks, and let me get him that number and all right. So we got him that information. So he should be able to call up very shortly there. And then we'll do it. Yep. All right. So yeah, you're gonna be calling in here shortly, and we'll handle the video. We'll handle the interview there. So respect to him on that. Okay.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
All right. How you doing?
Well, I'm good, yo. Finally, the gods
Yeah.
weren't on our side today, yo, with the video.
Yeah. This is a lot better.
So, you know what? I'm kind of glad because before I talked to you, I was telling my nephew earlier, right?
Yeah.
I haven't got my hair cut this year yet, and I'm kind of looking like pretty rough.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, maybe audio is better. So.
Yeah. Well, it's clearer, so it makes it. We don't have to worry about it.
True. So yeah, so want to start from the beginning.
Yeah, we'll start from the beginning. So, introduce yourself again now.
All right, so I'm Kevin Spencer I'm a comedian out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and I also I started a YouTube channel called the Kevcast Reviews, which is for mainly comic book movies and stuff along that nature and stuff. And last year was a rough year. It was my 10th anniversary of comedy, but due to everything being locked down and stuff, I was on stage a total of 4 times last year, which is not the greatest. And doing movie reviews when the movie theaters are closed was kind of hard, so I didn't do too many of those either. So hopefully this year is a lot better.
Yeah, well, I think at least they're trying to find ways to do shows COVID safe and stuff. So,
my idea this year is, even if I can't do a lot of the stuff I was trying to do, I regularly do. I have other ideas. I have other ideas down the line that I plan on doing. I'm gonna come out with I have a kids clothing line coming out in March, so I got that. It's gonna be called Small Hero Clothing. So I'm gonna try to take other avenues to see what I can do.
Definitely smart, definitely. So
because you know what, you gotta if you put all your eggs in one basket, it doesn't,
Yes.
I was never a fan of that.
You've been doing comedy for about 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you're not the most clean of comics in your style.
No, not really. And I was gonna actually tell you a quick story about that. I had a buddy. Well, he's not my buddy now, but he asked me to do a show one time, and it was he didn't give me any all he said was, "Kev, come to your act. He said it was for some charity. I can't remember what it was now. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm like, all right. So I come there. 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, he tells me that I can't swear. Like I had to keep it clean. And I bombed, naturally, because, you know, thinking off the top of your head sometimes ain't the best. And I realized, like, when you, like, with comedy, if I find that if you have to neuter it, if you have to, like, you know, like, if you have to curb it to where you can't say certain, that's when the comedy is not comedy to me. You know?
Yeah.
Like all the greats, like when you look at like
Definitely.
when Eddie Murphy did Rolling Delirious, right? Like
Yeah.
he went right in. He went no holds barred.
Honestly, that was something I wanted to ask you
Oh, cool.
about it. Is I did want to ask you if you had felt like the fact that society is getting, you could say, at least more politically correct on
Yeah.
how they view things, and you know, with comedy they'll even go into your past.
Yeah.
Did you find that hurting your ability to be a comic?
It hasn't affected me really because I pretty much when I have a show or something, I book it myself. Like I set up my own like events and stuff.
Yeah.
So usually, if I get a good relationship with a venue or something like that, usually they know that I can bring people there. So they usually it works out. But if I was on like a larger scale, like let's say I was like for example, like when Kevin Hart when he made that he had a joke on Twitter from like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to host the Oscars, and they went back and found that tweet or something. And it's like he was joking, you know. And look how long ago it was. Like people need to like if I find something that's not funny, I just don't pay attention. To each their own, right? So
Yeah. So
but yeah, it has gone way politically correct for comedy reasons. Like I understand for certain aspects there's things maybe you shouldn't say, but if you're doing comedy, then you know comedy should be that place where you can go to get away, like that open forum, you know?
yeah, definitely there. So like how do you like prepare your comedy? Like do you just have like topics and you talk, or do you write full on, you know, jokes with punchlines and stuff like?
Well, what I do, what my like what I've learned to do, like I've you know practice makes perfect, they say. So when I first started, I have a bit of an ego.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very overconfident, and when I first started, I shouldn't have been that confident, and I had a couple of rough outings, and I kind of had this mentality that yeah, if you're funny one time, you should be funny every time, and there were some times where I wasn't that great, and I realize now that when I tell my jokes now, when I used to start out, I would go on stage and I would just like kind of like not wing it, but I would have like a couple of jokes I knew and then work off that. But right now, I kind of have everything like down to a science. Where if I have a joke, I know like what word. If I have an ending word, I know what that leads into the next bit. So I kind of do it that way. So that's how I memorize it in my head.
Okay.
So if I go on stage for like say 15, 20 minutes, all I do is think before I get up there, I think of 5 words that lead into like say like a joke's about hookers or something like that, right? I'll just say that word in my head, so I know that if I say that bit, then I know where that leads to next, and I'll think of the next line. That's how I kind of do it now. But I used to be kind of stupid that way and not do that, you know.
Yeah.
And also, if you're doing comedy, it's I always tell people like no disrespect to like hip hop artists or like rock bands or something like that, but if you're on stage and the music's loud behind you, and if there's a person at a table like 2 feet away and they tell their friend that this band or this artist sucks, you can't really hear them. But if someone says a comedian's terrible, you can hear everything, you know? And that's harsh. I've heard that before. I heard someone once, I bombed at Club 54 in Burlington.
Yeah.
My first ever time there, I was so hyped, and I got there and I was on stage, and I actually had a date that night. This girl was the first time she ever saw me do comedy, and I've only done comedy for like a couple years to this point. I go up, and I had a cold, like the flu kind of coming on. My voice was getting all scratchy.
Yeah.
I go on stage, and I was trying to force my words, and all I heard was some guy say to somebody, like, I hope the next guy's funnier. And that killed me. Like, I never felt like, it was like the world just ended. And that was the worst I ever bombed. And then I left. I thought I'd never go back there. And then they told me to come back. And I went back a couple months later, and I killed it. So I'm like, I'm thankful for that. But yeah, comedy can be rough.
Yeah, that I could not, imagine, because you have even more direct interaction with your crowd.
Yeah, that's true. And then, like,
you can tell if they like or hate you a lot easier.
Yeah. And sometimes I kind of like, if I'll have like a bunch of stuff in my head that like I might not want to do, but if I go in, you can kind of gauge the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, let's say like I go to a crowd and there's like a lot of older people. I might say something like I'll have in my head that can relate to something they might laugh at. Or if I see like younger people, I'll kind of like target to that, So I try to base it that. Like I have a lot of favorite comedians, so I kind of like try to like not emulate them, but try to like go along the same wavelengths. Try to stay funny.
Okay, so who are your favorite comedians? Like who would be your top 5 comedians?
My top 5 would be number 1 would be Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds like something that probably everyone would say, but I mean, I've watched him so many times, and it's just natural. He's just, he has something with him. Number 2 is Chris Rock. I've always loved Chris Rock. I actually watched, I think it was Never Scared, or one of those specials where he's like in 3 different places, in Johannesburg, New York, and somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they show it, and they cut it. And when they cut it, they show him saying the same ending of a joke in each city. Yeah. And he gets the timing every single time, like exactly perfect. And when you're up on stage for like almost an hour, myself, I couldn't do that. That's beyond impressive. I give that full credit. Number 3 is probably someone that a lot of comedians probably wouldn't say is Daniel Tosh.
Okay.
Tosh
yeah.
I saw him live.
That's not a pick. Yeah, that's not a normal top 5.
No, I saw him at Hamilton Place like years ago, and I loved it. His show was great, and I only went because I was actually watching a show like his actual Tosh 0.0 show, and I didn't really know much about his stand-up comedy. And then when I went and saw him live, and then I started like looking up other specials he had, and I was impressed. Number 4 is a guy from Toronto, actually, Quinn Martin.
Yes, I know Quinn.
Quinn and me have done like a lot of shows together, and he did about Quinn. What I love about Quinn is I got engaged in like 2016.
Okay.
And it didn't work out, but what I did was, my plan was I was going to do a show, and I didn't know I was going to be engaged that night. The girl that I was with had an idea where she was going to get her kids to bring a cake out saying, "Will you marry us?" And because kids aren't allowed in the bar after a certain time, they were going to do it before the show. So she was like, "Do you mind if the kids come for a bit?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So when I was getting everything ready, and it was supposed to be just a comedy show, right?
Yeah.
And Quinn knew, because Quinn talked to my fiance at the time. And the kids, when my fiance said, like, can we talk to you? And they brought a cake out and said, "Will you marry us?" And they dropped the cake.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, that's not a good sign, right?
No.
So Quinn did that show with me, and that night he told me because we did like the shows prior to that, right? But he told me like, I'm one of his favorite comedians. I'm one of his favorite people, and that meant a lot because I admire him. He's a tank when he goes and do comedy, right? So that really made like an impact on me. And then we've done a bunch of shows since, and actually, like not last year, the year before, I did it's called like the Super Bowl of stand up. So I did a bunch of had a bunch of comedians do a show the day before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Quinn did that with me. And I don't know what I was thinking. This goes along with the ego thing again, but I set the comedians up where Quinn would go before me, right?
Mm.
And I only did that because I set I had like a whole thing I wanted to say at the end of the show because like my dad died in 2012, so I wanted to say something about him, like how I'm doing better and stuff like that. That was the whole meaning behind it, which had a good meaning in hindsight. But reality was like I had to follow Quinn, and Quinn was supposed to be up there for 20 minutes. He ended up doing about 45.
Yeah.
And because everyone was telling him, we don't want you to leave. Like, we're like, stay up there, stay up there. And for me to follow that, even with my own friends and people there, that was rough. So, yeah, so Quinn's number 4. And then, you know those blue-collar comedy guys?
Yeah.
I don't like any of them. But I like that one guy, Ron White, the guy that has the whiskey on stage all the time.
Yeah, he's good.
That guy, I like him. He's like the only guy out of those 4 guys I like. So, yeah, those are my top 5.
Okay.
A lot of people would say like Kevin Hart and stuff like that. I like them. I like Kevin Hart and stuff, but I don't just put him in my top 5.
Yeah. I like that top 5. It's different than like there's a variety of it and stuff. Like Ron White, he's probably my favorite one out of all of them guys because even though I know all of them have a gimmick, his gimmick seems less fake, like less costume stuff, and he's just funny. So, So okay.
Before we got cut off there on the video thing, I remember asking you, like, so what made you want to start doing this?
And I was saying, like it's just I've always been like in different roles, like a rapper. I did management. I've done involved in entertainment, and I've always been like very opinionated and very like for years. Like if you go on, like I'm always on the message boards or in the Facebook groups thing, and this was just I found like this was just like the thing I've always wanted to do. 2000 last year, everything shut down. I spent the time looking into it, studying it. I was watching a lot of other blogs and podcasts and just seeing what I like, what I don't like, and it gives you opportunity to branch into other things because it's bringing you an audience, and once you have that audience, like you can do merchandise. Like I want to go back into doing music, and
nice.
Like that's like that's always going to be my passion. So I'm always gonna never be too far from there and stuff. And I love giving platform. It eventually, hopefully, it's going to be a stronger one. I love the opportunity of giving platforms to other people to display their talents and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's awesome, brother. I'm glad, and also I'm glad you wanted me on. That means a lot.
Yeah, well, I like comedy and stuff, and I know you guys. I know a few comments. I know you guys had a hard year. Even more than music, that a major portion of you guys perform. If there's no performances, there's not much you guys can do there.
Mm-hmm. And like I think to myself, like what you said about getting a platform and stuff. As you probably do also, like when you're doing something for a long time, you get you meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if I want to I've always tried to work with like a lot of people. I've always tried to do like different things and stuff like that. And I figure I kind of use this analogy of like a snowball going down a hill, like it turns into an avalanche.
Yeah.
So if everybody was to if say for example, like I'm on your thing today, so like I'm gonna do something in a month or so, and I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna talk to you, and then what I mean. So you can have people help each other, so it kind of like makes it stronger.
true. That's very true.
So that's
So
kind of like what kind of like helps me like think and stuff like that.
yeah. So another question I looked at. So in the 10 years, what was your best and worst experience due to
My
be like
my
either at a show or due to being the show? Yeah.
my best and worst experience on stage, or just in general, like on
Just
like at a show.
due to being a yeah, just to being a comic and stuff like either on
Um,
stage or yeah, at a show.
I think I have a couple. The one that I kind of touched on earlier about when I first started out, I kind of didn't have that attitude of like I just assumed everything would go smoothly.
Yeah.
And I did a show. It was at a theater in Hamilton. It was called Mountain Theater. It was called. I can't remember what the name of it was at the time, but it was in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started recently. Like I've only done comedy for a couple of years at this point. And
Okay.
my buddy Chris and me, we got Eddie Delaseppe from Much Music.
Mm-hmm.
We got him to do like the headliner. We paid him to do the headlining. And I had this other comedian, this guy Larry Smith. He's also great, but he's done comedy for like 25 years or some shit like that. So he's not like new in it, right?
Yeah.
And I was the guy. I was going to go in the middle. So the way it was going to work was no, I was opening up. So I was going to open up, then that Larry guy, and then Eddie at the end. So we were driving up the mountain to go to the show. My buddy Chris was talking to me, and we had to do all the ticket selling ourselves. So we had to do all the marketing and stuff like that. So he, knowing this is our biggest show and like it needed to go well, because in order for us to like do more. So as we're about 10 minutes away from the place, and it's like the show started in like an hour. So he asked me if I was how we're like preparing for the show was going and stuff like that. And I just blatantly just said like I didn't. He was like, what? I'm like, no, man, I didn't practice. I didn't do shit like that. I'm like, I'll be fine. And that right there, like we had about, I'd say like almost 300 people there. I went up there and half my set was good. And the other half I was kind of starting to die off. And then that Larry guy kind of saved me because he came and like, he said something and took the mic and made it seem like, and he told the crowd to like cheer for me and shit like that. But when I got off that stage, I realized you gotta take something more seriously than just fucking going up and lame shit, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So that was probably like, even though I kind of did that, that was a cool experience because of how many people we had there and stuff like that. So that's probably one of my top. And I also did the roast to Kevin Spencer in 2017 or 16.
Oh yeah.
And that was at a place called the Lincoln Alexander Center in Hamilton. And I've done a couple things there and I like it. And we had over 300 people there that night, and Quinn was the headliner for that. And
you had people do the roast on
yeah, I had 6 separate roasters, and Quinn wasn't one of the roasters. He should have been, actually. He probably would have killed that. But and then Quinn, I did about 20 minutes on stage, and every joke I did that night like landed. Everything went well. And then Quinn did, I think he did 40 minutes or something like that. And we had like another comedian, and it went. That was like probably my biggest thing I've done. That was like my that sticks in my head most.
Okay.
And the worst was the one I told you where I bombed at Club 54.
Yeah.
That was really, really hard. But the weird part, like when I did good there, like the time after, I was in the bathroom and this guy came right behind me at the urinal and he put his arm at the bottom of my back, and he was drunk and he was like, "Yo, good show, brother." And I was like, "Yo," I'm like, "You wait till I'm done."
Yeah.
But that was probably like, yeah, those are my two, those are my top and worst.
Okay. So like what are your like immediate and like ultimate like goals in comedy? Are you looking to go to do movies? Are you looking to get into acting, write shows, or just you just want to be a stand-up? Where?
Yeah. No, I want to make it might not be this year. I'm leaning more towards next. I want to do a comedy album.
Oh, okay.
And then as for everything else, like I said, I tried to like do a bunch of everything. And right now I have a guy who films my YouTube channel. This guy Josh Tiller.
Yeah.
And he's like, me and him, we had an idea for like we wrote like a short horror film. We're gonna like send it to like all like the small film festivals and stuff. And we started filming it. This was like last year, and then we were using this church that it was like an abandoned church. And my buddy, his neighbor, this woman said she bought the church, right? So she gave us the key to get in. So we were filming for like, we probably filmed for like a good couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
And the problem was with this is we were in there one Saturday morning, and this guy comes in, this old guy, and there's like some other guy with him, and they're freaking out. They're yelling like, "What the hell are you doing here? Why are you in my building?" And we had no clue who these people were. So we tried to talk to them. Apparently, the girl that gave the key was just a cleaner there, and she got fired, but she kept the key.
Okay.
So she told us some bullshit story that she owned the church. So I patterned the whole movie that we wrote off of what this church looked like, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what we had filmed, we couldn't use it for anything else, basically, because there's nowhere else. We would have to. I had no idea how to alternate the story or do anything with that. So that kind of was like a giant waste. So Josh and me were talking, and we came up with an idea for. It's like I'm not a huge fan of the show, but you know the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not like I don't. A lot of people love that show. I'm not big on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But the idea behind it, like the way the camera is and how they do it and stuff. So we came up with a show called 24 Kevin.
Okay.
Where it's a comedian and two roommates, and they it's basically like I have an agent and I have like jobs that I get fired from all the time. I basically I'm my life goes to shit. Every episode it gets worse. And I've written 3 of them, and I want to wait till I'm done 6. So we'll probably be ready to film in probably like May or June. And basically I'm going to do 6 episodes of this and see what happens, see if people like it, and, take it from there. I'm going to have like I have people playing my sister and brother-in-law in the show that own a store that I help promote for called Nerdcore. So they're going to play my actual like fake brother-in-law and sister in the show. So then I get to film in the store. So that's kind of cool. So that's part of my future plans. And then like I want to do like this kids clothing called Small Hero, like I was saying. And then that's pretty much it. And I want to have and the website I have going up should be up in probably the end of February.
Okay. And what's the website?
It's going to be called KevCashReviews.com.
Oh, okay.
Because they go along with my YouTube stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to do, because I don't know how, like, I don't know when movie theaters or when, like, movies will be kind of back to normal. So my idea this year is I'm going to do a couple, like, kind of like remember, like, in Living Color, Saturday Night Live, shit like that, when they do, like, skits?
Okay.
I wrote a couple like skits that we're gonna do for my Kevcast show, just like comedy skits. Like I wrote one called 50 Shades of Bat, where it's like Batman meets 50 Shades of Grey. I want to do that for Valentine's Day. I want to do Hamilton's Dragon's Den.
For Valentine's.
I want to do like a bunch of things like that, and I'm just gonna do like TV series reviews and shit, like shows that I've watched. Like I'll just talk about that on an episode or something, just because right now, like, I'm not sure, like, that a couple of years ago, movies would come out every Friday, right?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of all that stuff's up in the air. So until everything kind of gets back to regular, I want to do stuff like that.
Okay.
Just so I'm not just sitting there,
Definitely.
Because I already pretty much wasted 2020, so I don't want to waste 2021.
So when was the last time you wrote a rap?
Oh man, that's something. Probably. My cousin told me. I don't know. We were drinking, so I don't know if she was just because she was drinking. She said this, but we were with. It was New Year's, and she told my one buddy that she goes, "Oh, Kevin used to rap," And he didn't believe it. And he was like, Kevin?
Mhm.
And then she's like, yeah, he's really good. Like, I went and saw his shows and stuff. And then she's like, then she looked at me. She goes, you should try to actually finish something like hip hop wise, like do like maybe like 6 songs or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I actually thought to myself, like, I laughed it off, but I was thinking maybe, you know what, maybe that'd be okay just to put on my website or something, just to say I accomplished something in that area.
Especially
You know,
if you're, you know, in the, the comic realm, like you have the ability of not having to take yourself so
too seriously.
too serious. You don't have to sit there and try to be a street hard,
Yep.
and just make some fun music and stuff. And all I know is, I swear, if you ask him enough, Tom Green to this day can still drop a freestyle. He'll still drop a freestyle and spit like right off the top of the the right beat.
No, I hear you.
So,
Well, I think, yo, I don't think I think I wrote something a couple of years back and just gave up on it.
yeah.
I started to, and it just, it kind of felt different. I don't know, like, so you make music. You make
Yeah.
music. So, okay, so I know random question for you, but all right, so I don't know how, I'm 43.
Yeah.
So I'm from my hip hop era was mainly like the mid 90s and stuff.
We're the same generation.
Like, if I think of classic albums, I think of Reasonable Doubt, Illmatic, stuff like
Yeah.
that, Ready to Die, shit like that. I don't want to sound like that guy, but when you're younger, your parents always say, like, all this new music's garbage and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
There's not too many new people I like.
Yeah.
Like, my son's 23, and he's, like, likes a lot of old stuff, but he's played me some, like, newer things, and it's hit or miss, man. Like, if it's, like, say he plays me, like, 5 people, I'll like 2, 1,
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Like, I don't know. Something about it. It's just not, I don't know, man. The lyrics ain't there like they used to be. I don't know.
My thing about it is, because I know, even like with me coming back to music and stuff like that, I'm not, I'm not trying to sound like little anybody. It's our generation that started listening to music, people around our age. We're the first generation that never grew out of hip hop. We never.
Yeah.
So when I start doing my music and making my album, I'm making my album for people my age. I don't care if a 15-year-old likes my album or not. I don't care. I'm not making it for you.
That's a great attitude to have. I agree with that.
If a kid seems to hit it and gravitates and likes it, that's great. I'm not going to tell you not to listen to it, but I know in my head, I'm not making it for you. I'm not making I know who I'm thinking about, who still likes hip hop, but it's like, who has the same mentality that you just had of thinking, I listen to a lot of this new stuff and I don't like anything. So that's who I'm making it for. It's gonna be boom, like DJ Premier type beats and rapping. I'm not gonna auto tune a whole bunch of stuff. It's just that's what.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So when you were making, like, how long did you start music? Like, how long ago was that?
My first rap group was formed in high school around 93.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you're around the same age as me then.
Yeah, I'm 42.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I'll be 44 in November. So.
But yeah,
but
I did that, and through the 90s, most of my shows, and stuff were probably between 2000 and 2010 and stuff. Then I had my gigs.
Same as me, man.
Yeah. Yeah, like I performed a couple of times in Oshawa and stuff. Like, I mean, not Oshawa, it's Hamilton, sorry. In Hamilton,
okay, yeah,
stuff. Yeah, like I did some stuff with Mookie, and what was the group name that I performed? Hilltop Hoods or something. I forget the name, but yeah, I've done
All
some
right.
stuff around. So
Nice.
um, yeah,
And you said so. You said you're gonna like get back into music and stuff, eh?
yeah, like I'm starting to. I've got a few people that I can get some beats for. I've been writing a little bit here and there and stuff. So it's right now it's just a passion project of like I was doing it for so long that
Hmm.
for me not to have anything profession like pressed thing, like I can't not have an actual project. It's
That's
just
exactly what my attitude was. If you want to have that finished thing, you want to know you accomplished it. You want to know you did it.
yeah,
I agree 110% on that. That's true. But yeah, if you like, and you know what, if you like something, you do it till the wheels fall off. You know,
yeah, like it's a
like
so
I'm probably I like comedians. There's comedians that do comedy till they're like 60, 70, 80 years old. You know, so I'm gonna keep doing
definitely.
what I'm doing forever until I probably get bored of it. But but yeah, no, no. So when if you ever come into Hamilton, you want to I have a couple people at studios here. If you ever want to record,
Okay, yeah, definitely we can definitely try that. That'd be cool.
yeah, sounds good, buddy.
So, with the comedy there, do you have do you have like ever really deal like with the heckler situation, and the whole comedy and a heckler actually getting at you? Has that happened or no?
Yeah, I've had a couple times where I've heard like hecklers or something like that, but I don't know. Some people have different attitudes. Some people would like choose to attack them or whatever. I kind of like depends on what they say.
Yeah,
If they say something that like I can say something about, then I'll add something. But not a lot of times like it's few and far between. So if it's just one random dude, I'll just breeze right by him, and then if everyone's laughing at the next joke I say, then that guy kind of gets buried anyway. So
yeah.
and I said things where um like I said some joke about what was it? It's not a popular topic,
Mm,
but I said something. I don't know. It's a joke that I used to have that I don't even like.
okay.
You know when you like okay, so you can relate to this. So when you wrote music like when you first started, right?
Yeah,
And then as you go on, like you hone your skills, you get better, right?
yeah. And
So
you
I
work it.
kind of had a joke when I first started. It wasn't like it was stupid. It was it was abortion related, right?
Okay.
And I said something about that, and the girl, there was a couple at the one table, and then there was like another table, and this other couple were there,
Yeah,
and the one couple laughed like a lot, like the guy and his wife or girlfriend or whoever she was. They laughed like a lot, like you could hear them, like
yeah.
it was a strong laugh. And then I forget what I said. Something about the one girl had gave me like the meanest look, and she
Mm,
looked at her like boyfriend or husband, like, "Yo, we're going home. Like I'm leaving, right? I don't want to be here at all." And when she said something like that, I said something like, like some people don't get like certain jokes. I'm like, some people might have gotten an abortion last week, and I pointed at her. She
mm,
pretty much like she threw her glass on the ground and fucking screamed and walked out. And it kind of embarrassed me
yeah,
because I was like, I didn't know, I never had that type of reaction before. So when
yeah,
my next joke that I was supposed to say, I didn't even remember. So I ended up going into a joke that wasn't even for that time, and I just ended up breezing through that, and that threw me off. That I don't know if you call that a heckler, but it shook me. So
yeah,
and I did feel bad. Like I got off stage, and even though earlier I said like comedy you shouldn't have rules and shit like that, but when I
yeah,
said that, like I kind of maybe like I felt like maybe this lady had something like that happen, and I was like,
yeah,
oh no. Like, I kind of in hindsight look back like, oh wow, that's harsh. So then I took that joke right out of my whole set, So
yeah. So that's the thing, because like I don't think like because the reason why comedy is supposed to be able to get away with it is that I don't think that like the good comics and stuff are really trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
No.
That's not supposed to be the goal, is
No.
trying to affect,
Yeah, like
usually,
if you go out there with the whole mentality of like, I'm gonna shock them with this word, or shit like that,
yeah.
then you're not really trying to craft jokes. You're not trying to craft stories. You're out there basically
Mhm.
being a dick.
Yeah.
And there's levels to it. Like there's people that like Chappelle, for example. Chappelle says a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's lots of groups that he's offended. But in the meantime, he does it in a way where he's also like kind of like he takes shots at his own self, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't know this, or he'll talk shit like that. But he makes it the way he tells a story, the way he does that makes it a lot better. And like that's how you should do it. And I realize that now that I've done it more, I don't want to just go out there and say something just for the sake of saying it. So
Definitely, it's have you in any type of creative writing type job, time, you look back at your old stuff and you realize that you perfect your craft, and hopefully you've gotten better, and you can see the actual differences in the
for sure,
actual craft. Yeah.
for sure. Like I agree 110%
Yeah.
on that one. If you don't, then don't ever do it.
Definitely, because that's the thing, like, 'cause even you were saying how, like, when you first started, you didn't really actually put work into the craft. You thought it would just be easy and you could go up there and tell jokes and stuff. But it's so funny that, because for years I have a friend that, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I have a friend that we had made a deal, and my part of the deal, it it bothered me. I backed out of it. Was I was supposed to do a stand-up show
Oh, nice.
and stuff, because people tell me I'm funny, and I did the rapping and stuff, and I'm up on stage and everything. So I've been told to do it, but I'm like I'm afraid. Like, I've told people for years, I'm like, I feel. Did you used to watch the Fresh Prince?
Oh my God! Guess what? Hold on. Before you say anything,
Yeah.
I was about to mention that the episode where Sinbad, where Uncle Phil mentions Sinbad.
No, the episode where
Will wants to be a
Yeah.
comedian, and then he's like,
Yes.
Uncle Phil, he's like, I bet your Sinbad's parents didn't care if he was a comic or whatever. He's like, he goes, they named him Sinbad. He had two choices: pirate or comic.
Yeah. Literally, I tell people, like, that scene is how I portray my comedy career. Because I'm like, everybody, yeah, you're funny, you're funny. I'm like, yeah, I'm funny to hang around with, and I can tell jokes with but I'm like, I have a great respect for, like, real comedians, because I'm like, but I don't know if I could sit there and craft, a beginning, middle, and punchline joke and do a full, like, set. Like, I'm like, I can be funny with us, but I don't know if I can do. And I'm like, that's gonna be me. I'd be up on the. He didn't want to pull the cotton, and I wouldn't know what to do. Like, that is literally my comedy fear. That episode.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, I tell people, I've done it for a couple of people already, but if you ever want to do comedy, all you have to do, I've had this happen before where I set someone up for the opener.
Yeah.
And all you need, man, is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that don't sound like much, but it does when you get up there. But if you could just have, like, it depends on what your style, like how you want to do it. Like me, for example, I don't just tell like main like joke. I kind of like try to do stories.
Yeah.
So they lead into something else. So, but if you have like a good story and it's funny, if it can go like 5 minutes, then you're golden, man.
Yeah.
Well, to start out, then you can build off of that, right?
Yeah. Like I like honestly like I think I have like my opener and nothing else. And I'm like, I know one day I have to do it, but I'm like, oh, I really don't want to. Like, I think I have to do it in a
Mm-hmm.
city that's not. I can't do it in Scarborough or Toronto. Like, I gotta like do it like Hammer. Like, I gotta do it in a city where if I bomb, I just never have to see anybody that's in that audience again and stuff. Like,
Yeah, go to like some random like Cambridge.
yeah, just a
You're a
random
place where you
bar.
probably never see where you'll never see these people again.
Yeah, but like everything, like I tell people, like I'm like, I I've I've had I've always had a respect for the actual like talent of like stand-up comic and stuff because I've recognized it's there's a lot more to it than just being a funny person.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's a lot of technical aspect to it that some people don't recognize and don't realize, what's coming to it and stuff.
And the
So
and the and the basic like we were saying about bombing and stuff. On say like the preparation. If you got to be prepared for the worst.
yeah,
So if it goes south, then it's hard to get back up there.
yes, that's the strength to keep going and
And
learning and
I watch comedians like especially at Club 54, like if it's like the headliner and like let's say
yeah,
he bombs from the start. If you're doing bad the first couple minutes and you can't turn it around, and you're up there for like a half hour or something, my heart goes out to those people because you're just sitting there saying stuff and there's no reaction, and that's the most cold feeling you could ever have.
yeah, like
Because
it's
you're just staring in a face. You're staring into like a sea of faces, just no humor.
yeah, that's
And
hard to
that
watch. It's painful.
it is, and I know that. Like I said, I probably bombed in my life like 2-3 times, like where I've really done shit, and it was a long fucking long day. Like the first time I bombed, almost made me quit. So
Yeah, I think like I know in music, I think um you almost need to have that happen, like to because you need to know if you can get over it. So you need to have that really bad show where it didn't go right, the crowd wasn't into it and thing, and you need to have that defeat
mm-hmm.
to and be able to go back on stage before you can really say you can do it or not.
Exactly, I hear you on that one.
So do you have anything actually booked, um, as well as shows or anything like that?
Oh, for like and for
For,
2021.
yeah,
Nothing upcoming. I was gonna start like looking into stuff over the next couple of weeks. See what places I can see where things go after the lockdown type stuff, right?
yeah,
But see where I can go. I did when we were locked down last year. I did Toronto once. I
yeah.
did London, and I did Oshawa, and
Okay.
that was those 3 shows. And I did one in Hamilton. I went one in Burlington. So those are my shows I did last year. And usually I do like I'm on stage probably like 60 times a year, maybe.
Oh,
So to go from 60 to 4 was tough. So hopefully, like I can get some stuff set up soon. And that's why, like I said, I was gonna do all that stuff in the meantime, just to keep my name out there, type deal, right?
yeah, definitely.
Like I've
I
seen
think
comedians do. They did those,
difference.
those like some people did like online shows and stuff.
Yeah, I was
And
just
I
about to
saw them.
ask you about that. If you
I saw
consider
them, and
those.
to me, it's not for me. I don't. I need the feel of a crowd.
Yeah. Okay.
Like me standing in the living room doing my jokes, I wouldn't even have the same passion in it because I'm not looking at no. There's no one to see there. I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
Like I could do them, but it wouldn't have the same impact.
Doesn't
You know?
get, yeah.
Like, if people want to do them, that's all more power to them. Hopefully it works out for them, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, like they've done them with like the music performances as well, and some
Yeah,
some artists like it, some artists, are like, it's not the same, you're performing in an empty stadium, and you don't have the energy. Yeah.
It's atmosphere is a key thing to me. And like the feeling of being on a stage as opposed to just standing in your living room, like it's not the same to me. So yeah, to me, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's it. But I did want to ask it. I know, are you seeing the same thing? Like everything's been going virtual and stuff like that. Would that be something to consider? But yeah, I think because it's such a interactive energy, you're right with the
Yeah,
crowd. It would
yeah,
be a lot different. I guess it'd be like you're practicing.
yeah. Like I need to see people. You know.
Okay, makes sense there. Okay, so yeah, that's it with the questions there. Really, and you were letting us know you have the clothing line coming up. You're doing
Oh,
the filming. Yeah.
I DJ also, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, my buddy Joey and me, I used to DJ with someone else a year ago. We had a falling out,
Yeah.
and I ended up DJing with this guy because me and this guy click more. We're kind of like the same, like we get along easier and stuff. And we came up with it's called, well, my other one was called Hammer. Like I didn't like the name of it, but this is called Global Threat.
Okay.
And we DJ'd a few things in the summertime that was like private events and stuff.
Yeah.
And that we did those, and we clicked really great. It went well, and we're gonna hopefully like do more with that too this year. So,
what kind of music or genres or
it's just
things
like
do you handle?
it's like just basically like DJing like parties and stag and does and weddings and shit like that.
So just be like top 40 hits, thing like
Yeah,
that.
stuff like
anything?
that. But Joey, I'm not as good as him. He's like he's better at DJing than me. But when he DJs, a lot of he's really big on like when if he's like just like if he's just fucking around at home with like his turntables and stuff.
Yeah.
It's mainly like EDM and dance and shit like that.
Okay.
So like that's not my area. I'm not a massive fan of that stuff, but that's what he likes. And like when he does that on his own, he's like he gets it right into his own. So I'm like he's really great at what he does. So I'm glad that like him and I connected and stuff. And so I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with him in the future. So
Okay. And like, so what equipment do you guys use? Just like Serato or?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So what we will do, do you guys have like a page or a way for people to contact you, or?
We are working on that right now.
Oh, okay. So.
But everything I do, I post to my own Facebook anyway.
Okay.
And I have a pretty big following. So.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely for anybody needing, some DJs.
Just contact Kevin Spencer. Kevin Scott Spencer on Facebook. I use my middle name always.
Yeah.
Just because of that show. Remember that show?
Which one?
Do you remember that show, Kevin Spencer?
I know the name, but I don't remember that show.
Yeah, there's a cartoon, and like it came out like it was a Canadian cartoon, like 2004 or something like that, 2004, 2005. But it was called Kevin Spencer. And when I used to go to like banks or anything like that, and they'd ask for like ID or anything like that, people when I told them my name, they thought I was lying. They're like, yeah, I'm like, my name is Kevin Spencer. Like I'd tell girls I meet, and they're like, fuck off, buddy. I'm like, that is my name. Like so when I do comedy, I always put Kevin Scott Spencer in there just to, kind of separate it somewhat. I like to use my middle name, so.
Okay, makes sense.
I don't want to be compared to a cartoon character who drank cough syrup or whatever he did. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So
Okay.
that's why. So yeah. So anything I do, I always post on my actual like Facebook, Kevin Scott Spencer, and I'm gonna, like I said, once my website's up, I will be letting everyone know, and I'll be posting that on there too,
All
and
right.
I'll hopefully, hey, and if anytime you want, anytime you want to talk to me, feel free.
Definitely. Of course. All right.
We're gonna,
So yeah,
and maybe we'll get you doing comedy one day.
I have to, yeah, I have to do it. I have to suck it up and, you know, grab them up, grab my manhood and just do it and stuff like
There you
that.
go.
I have to do it because like it's been something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I can't, like, I don't know if I'll be a comic, but I just have to at least one time.
You know what, man? If you go up and you don't go on, you don't like it, hey, at least you tried.
Exactly.
But
Uh,
but if you don't try it, you'll don't ever try to live with regrets, man.
exactly. I'll be upset at myself. I'm already upset that I haven't done it yet. So I know I gotta, suck it up and do it.
See that, I'll make some songs, and then you can do some comedy. So we're like switching up.
Oh, there we go. There we go. We got it
Right?
going on. Yeah, man. All right.
And yeah, but
So,
anytime you want, brother, I'm always around, and I'll hype up all your shit, man. Just let me know.
all right. Thank you very much. And do the same and let me know any information about shows and the blog and make sure to let them know your YouTube again.
Oh, the Kevcast reviews.
All right. So make sure we're going to go over there, subscribe, follow him, let you know
And I'm
what
I got to
movies.
subscribe to you also.
Definitely.
But
All right,
thanks a lot.
everybody.
Thanks a lot for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming there. All right. And we'll definitely keep up to
Link up in the
date.
future.
Definitely. All right, then. Thank you very
All
much.
right, brother. Have a good night, eh?
All right. You have a good one.
All right, take care.
All right. Peace. All right. So I know there was a little bit of delay on that one, but we did finally get that one to go through. All right. So you guys have that's Kevin Scott Spencer. Make sure y'all look him up. Get ready for his clothing. And okay, so we are going to be heading out there and y'all have a good one. Make sure y'all follow me. This is King's Court Network. All right, have a good one.